Representative Hall, Representative Sorrells, Representative Mooney, Representative Warren, Representative Marcus, Representative Gray, Representative Rafferty, Representative Paramore, Representative Rigsby, Representative Holt Jones, Representative DeBose, Representative Shiree, Representative Brinyard. You have a quorum.
I'm glad you could make it, Ms. Hall. I know. I'm going to give you time to. Oh, there you go. Oh. That's a demerit.
Well, at least I didn't get the merit. He called me out too.
I want to sit down before you did.
All right, we'll catch y'all up. We're about to start. So the first bill on the calendar is HB 444. Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. This is House Bill 444, and what this does is it's an update to the seafood labeling law that we passed, I believe, a couple years ago. The purpose of this is to inform Alabamians where their seafood comes from. The intent is to let people know if they're shrimp, crabs, fish, oysters, what if they're from outside the United States, if they're from inside the United States, if they are farm raised, or if they're wild caught. And we've had that out there for over a year now, and we've found the little problems and loopholes that exist in almost every piece of legislation. And this is an effort to address those and make it more accountable for the restaurants and allow people to actually know what's going on in the restaurants. And so what we're doing here is we're making a few changes. So one of them is we're allowing the Department of Agriculture to come in and do random testing. The Department of Agriculture contracts with a testing firm that has every DNA line of every shrimp in the world. And so they can come in and tell you, if you say you're serving fresh Gulf shrimp or fresh Mobile Bay shrimp, if it really is, or if it's caught off the coast of South America or Asia, wherever. And then also they are very close to perfecting oysters. So if you say you have Apalachicola oysters, but they're really from, Maine or somewhere, they can tell you. And so this allows them to go in and do that testing. Also, it allows, there was a loophole in the law that provided for a sign or insert in the menu. And the purpose of that originally was a compromise on my part to allow delis and things that did not have fixed menus to be able to post that they served imported seafood. This goes back, tightens that so that restaurants will actually not have to print it on their menu, so they don't have to change it all the time, but to do an insert into their menu and detailing if every item is imported and farm raised or domestic. And then we've had a problem with it being enforced and restaurants just ignoring it. I was in a restaurant Friday night, went in there, a nice restaurant, looked down, had probably 15 seafood items on there in Mobile, the seafood capital of Alabama, and not one of them, Mobile, Baldwin County, there you go. And not one of the items was labeled. And so to me, that's a trust issue that we should be able to trust our restaurants that they're serving us what they say they're serving us. And so what we're doing is it'll be a line item in the inspection. So when the Department of Public Health goes in and does the inspection, if you fail the inspection, you get 5 points off on your overall score. And then also we have found that testing firm has gone and done tests at festivals and done random testing at restaurants. And right now they publish a list of all the restaurants that were good. And so what we're looking at doing is a register at all the restaurants that did it bad once a quarter. And hopefully with that, we'll be able to actually have not only enforcement, but people actually following the law.
All right, members, are there any questions? We do have an amendment here in just a moment. We'll go all good? Yes, sir. Representative?
Okay. Thank you, Representative, for presenting this. I do have a question about the random testing by the Ag Commissioner. Who pays for that? Does the establishment pay for that, or?
Well, the Department of Agriculture actually has labs set up right now anyway, so it would come out of their budget. And it's random testing, so, the way that really works is if you have a restaurant, they may never come to your restaurant, or they might come to your restaurant. So the whole purpose of that is just exposing some of the bad actors with you knowing that they may actually come to you one day.
Is there any provisions on how randomly they could be randomly tested?
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Rafferty?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I do want to get something clarified here. You said that would this be for seafood that was imported from other states or imported from other countries?
Well, the way it works is, so other states would still be considered domestic. There's really no way to do that.
Yeah, I know.
That would,
right. Yeah.
that would drive the cost up, and so it's just domestic and imported. It's not country of origin. So grocery stores have a totally separate federal law. This is just strictly
Gotcha.
imported, domestic, and then farm raised or wild caught.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I was about to say the grocery stores kind of already are doing this to some extent, right? At least saying where the country of origin is and if it's farm raised.
And that's
or not.
federal law.
Gotcha. All right. I guess, have you been hearing from the restaurants about why compliance has been an issue, or why, have they been struggling to do this?
Well, one of the first things that I did notice coming out of the gate in 2024 was that all of your chain restaurants immediately did it. And I don't know if that's because they had they have a fixed menu every location, but if there's nothing in there that's really a actual punishment, let's say there has monetary fines in there, but it has to be a line item in the inspection for it to really work, in my opinion. And it has to be, you have to have that carrot out there, and the carrot is you don't want to get points off on your score.
Right. Well, that's a stick, but
One the other. Well,
You're right.
But it's a carrot if you think that's you dangle it out there that they don't want to get a bad score.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
All right. Good deal. Thank you for clarifying.
you're welcome.
Representative DuBose, did I see?
Yes. Thank you for this. I grew up on the Gulf Coast, and I love seafood, and I want to know where my seafood is from, and I want to know if it's imported. But my question is, because I've gotten confused, I thought I understood it. So does it just tell you whether it's outside of the United States, or does it tell you which country outside of the United States?
No, it just tells you if it's outside the United States.
So it just says imported.
Imported or domestic, yeah. It's the restaurant business is it's so complicated in that you may one day have shrimp that's from Balabatry, the next day you get shrimp from Apalachicola,
Yeah.
and then it's hard times, so you get shrimp from Vietnam, whatever. But it changes so rapidly that it would be almost impossible to do that at that level.
So
Versus
picking up this shrimp, the Department of Agriculture can take it back, and they have the equipment.
they have on-site equipment.
They have on-site
right
equipment
there.
that can analyze it
Yeah, correct.
and tell whether it's imported
Yeah.
or not. And that's
Correct. And the whole purpose of that too is it's essentially, in my opinion, fraud. If you say you're serving, Gulf seafood when in fact you're not, and so that's
True,
what
yeah.
they do is they have the ability to go on site and test.
So is that equipment consistently accurate? Like we have been using it, we know that it's accurate.
It is
Consistent.
Yeah, it gets better and better.
Representative Hope Jones?
Thank you. I certainly agree with your bill in theory. I was curious if the Restaurant and Hospitality Association is okay with the details of the procedure of the implementation. Has that all been worked out?
Well, we worked hard on it 2 years ago, I guess. In this opinion, on this occasion, they have not reached out to me.
Thank you.
Okay, we have an amendment that's in front of us. Would you like to address the amendment, or who's bringing the amendment? Okay. Representative Shirey.
So the amendment makes really technical changes. We're going to replace line 128 on page 5 with the following. The state health officer or his or her designee upon receiving a verified. The second part is replace line 187 on page 7 with the following. The Alabama Department of Public Health shall publish on the department's website not less than quarterly.
And
Technical changes.
yeah, and those amendments are from the Department of Public Health.
Okay. All right, you've heard the amendment. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor of the amendment by saying aye. Aye. Those against, nay. Amendment passes. Representative Mooney, I think you have a question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I was reading the bill last night, and I started trying to understand this process of how do you define where seafood's from and all. So I got on the National Fisheries Institute site to look at it, and it doesn't. I guess I'm confused because on their site they clearly point out that seafood cannot be scientifically tested to verify country of origin.
Well,
So I'm kind of confused why agriculture and the National Fisheries Institute are opposite on what they're saying.
well, they actually can do that. It's an ongoing science. It's kind of like, when we first came out with DNA testing, it got better and better and better. So I don't know if they haven't updated their website because it is possible, and they're doing it right now. Actually, they're doing it all across the South.
Well, my concern is my hotel and restaurant groups in Birmingham, that my area, Shelby County specifically, but obviously our whole area, because we go all over the place to enjoy dining and things. The Hotel and Restaurant Association here in Alabama is not supporting this process because they're saying to us that obviously with the federal process, say that salmon that's harvested in Washington State, a lot of it can get sent to Canada for processing and then come back into the United States. And the way federal law works is that when it goes from country A to country B and then it comes back to country A, it shows that it came from country B. So even the Department of Agriculture's process wouldn't be substantial on that. But with those groups opposing it, it's a real concern locally because I've got thousands of hotel and restaurant employees in my district who are very concerned about this process because we've got restaurants that are posting, Native American or non-foreign or something like that. I don't know if they're exactly in compliance with what it's supposed to be like Washington State or something like that. But the restaurants are really good restaurants, and I'm sure the problem is, and we all know it, was crazy food that was coming in that was being dumped into the United States and messing seafood and stuff up. But they're not supporting it, and the National Restaurant Association is opposing it as well. I'm just concerned we're fixing to step into a mess without more understanding of this process of how, and I'm not questioning what you're saying. I just am trying to understand it better because these folks are very adamant that that can't be done. So have we got something we could look at that would give us more information about the process?
Sure, I can give you a phone number of the people to call. End of the day, when we passed this original bill, I made some good concessions, I thought, to the restaurant people and the hospitality people. I like working with them.
Right.
And some of those were at banquets. They don't have to post a sign because that's almost impossible to do.
Sure.
And dishes that are, say, like a gumbo that might have mixed seafood in it.
Sure.
Or if you served like a Captain D's or one of those places that serves, minced seafood, that could be all kinds of things. I mean, that's not covered under this. But you think about what we're really asking to do. What we're really asking them to do is to put an insert. They know where that seafood comes from because it comes from the wholesaler, and the wholesaler tells them. So all we're asking them to do is put an insert into the menu to say this is wild caught or farm raised or imported or domestic. And the ability to test that seafood is there. Right now it's just shrimp, but it's
That's obviously the big one.
right. It's a big one down my area as well. We could go all day long about how the federal government has worked to put seafood out of business in this country. If you look at issues like this, there's a restaurant named Mary Mahone's in Mississippi that for 20 years, and ended up being one of multiple restaurants that the federal government came down and busted them for fraud because they were serving seafood from all over the world and claiming it was Gulf seafood and, Mississippi coast seafood. And so this is a problem. I mean, it's a problem for the consumer as well, because the consumer has a right to know if what they're eating was raised in a ditch off the road in Vietnam or if it's raised off the coast of Alabama. And so I think it's an important piece of legislation, and I'd ask you to support it.
I think the biggest concern I've got is that employers and employees of my restaurants and all are very concerned about the process, that they feel like they're complying with the COOL Act, which is federal, that deals with where it originated, and then if it's gone into another place for packaging or whatever, at that point, then it becomes foreign because it comes from Canada to the United States. So they're labeling all that. I just wish that there could be an opportunity to get everybody together on it. Things have moved really fast this year. I think we all see that, but I'd hope we had time to talk with our employers, because I sure don't want to see anything cause anything to go down in terms of employment in my area especially.
Representative Marcus.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Brown, thank you so much for standing strong for our oystermen, fishermen, our shrimpers in the state and along the Gulf Coast in your district, and also Representative Hope Jones's district. At the appropriate time, I ask for a favorable report as amended.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any other comments? We adopted the amendment, correct? We've already adopted the amendment. All right, we have a first, second on the table with amendment that's been added. All those in favor by saying aye. Aye. Those against, nay. The bill passes with a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
All right, that concludes our meeting today. Thank you for all of you that made it on time and those that didn't. We appreciate it.